The Bank of England, they've increased their base rate again, haven't they? We knew it was coming. We was hoping it'd be about 0.25%, but no, they went way beyond everybody. They increased it to a whopping 5%. This, of course, is the 13th increase in a row. Martin Daubney, I shall start with you. First and foremost, many people are feeling quite anxious, quite worried. We had a period, didn't we, of very low interest rates for a very long time. Some people now saying that the Bank of England are failing. Well, they are. Who could say that they're not? The target, of course, was 2%, but many people now saying it's time for the government to step in and offer assistance, is it? Well,
let's think about how we got here. You know, who would have thought that printing £500 billion of money, during lockdown would get us this record amount of inflation, giving our money away so people don't have to work. £900 billion of printing money got us into this mess. We're now the fourth worst performer in all of Europe. We're not as bad as Turkey, 15%.
So are you blaming everyone that was at home on furlough for this?
I'm blaming the Bank of England for printing a load of money. Mark Carney blames Brexit. Of course he does. He blames Brexit for everything. If a comet
fat B word in a bit.
He'd blame Brexit. The fact of the matter is the Bank of England got us into this mess, and now they're punishing us. Food inflation, utility bills. We're getting hammered in every direction, and now they're getting us in a pincer movement with putting interest rates up, so people are no longer living, they're existing. And that's the payback. The Bank of England, I think, is no longer fit for purpose.
What would you do then?
Get somebody new in. Get somebody in who actually cares about Britain. Mark Carney was the author of Project Fear. Now he's Mr. I Told You So. He's gloating over the fact that we're shafted. And I'm afraid it's just not good enough to blame the UK, to blame Brexit. Take responsibility for your own actions. You're the guys who printed the money. Now stop blaming us for it.
Scarlett?
I mean, I don't know why you're just blaming Mark Carney. I mean, Andrew Bailey blames all of us for it, for trying to get decent pay rises. So, I mean, it's just as bad. Actually, what we have to do is we have to do something. And what's so shocking, actually, is that yesterday, when Rishi Sunak was asked what he was going to do, I mean, answer came there none. And actually, we do need to think about the people who have to pay their mortgages. I mean, mortgages have doubled in the last year when you're renegotiating them. And so it's absolutely right that the Financial Conduct Authority is told to tell the lenders, these are people, the banks are making a lot of money, right? They're making a lot of money because of the difference between the loans, which are high interest, and all the savers know that we're not getting anything like that, right? So they're making money. So actually what the banks have got to do, and this is Labour Party policy, but it's absolutely right, whether you like it or not.
What? I haven't said anything. I'm listening.
You just tell.
I just thought I'd warn you. But I mean, actually, that some people need need holidays, just off for a bit. I mean, mortgage holidays. They need to be interest only, and really, really important is the people who are having problems need to have their credit score left okay, and that's what we've got to do. The government can't bail anybody out, but what the government's got to do is to say to the lenders, you have to act responsibly.
Let's ask some of the good folk of Barnsley. Anyone want to come in on this conversation about interest rates? Do not be shy, everyone, because this is going to be the longest programme in history. There's someone over there in the dark, can't afford the electricity bills in Barnsley. We told you, didn't we, that times were hard. Can you tell me your name, please?
Hi, yes, my name's Sandra.
Hello, Sandra.
I'm actually not from Barnsley.
Oh, right.
I'm from Rotherham, down the road.
Oh, Rotherham, yes.
I have a question, really, about interest rates, being the hot topic, but listening to the news bulletin at 6 o'clock, it was mentioned there that you know, it's going to be a sting with the 0.5% interest rate rise for homeowners and mortgage holders, but actually it goes a lot further than that. It goes to the rental sector too.
It does.
Because most landlords are not in the position that they can just buy their buy-to-let properties for cash, so they have mortgages too.
They're passing it on.
To me, it's a double whammy in that it is mortgage holders, yes, of course it is, but also it's people who rent homes. And so that's perpetual. If rents are going up, mortgages are going up.
Indeed.
And wages aren't matching it.
I think a very good point there. It's not just about mortgage owners, it's people that definitely can't even get onto the housing ladder as well, that are stuck in the rental properties. Thank you for that. Any more comments on this base rate, interest rates thing? Yeah, here you go. Can I get a microphone to this chap? Hello.
Hi, Michelle. My name's John.
Hello, John.
I suppose one of the things I think about with Andrew Bailey is that, from what I understand, the Governor of the Bank of England has one job, and that is to maintain interest rates. Now, in this age of what I do, we have KPIs, we all have performance managed.
It's to keep the inflation, the target is 2%.
Well, he has one job, Michelle, yeah? And like you think of the good people in this room, we all have several. If you only had one job to do, you could probably do it. And what I don't understand is that you can do one job extremely badly in terms of controlling interest rates, and he's still in his job. But the other thing that I don't understand is, as well, is when he was asked how much he earned, he didn't seem to know, and it was £550,000. Now, £550,000 to do one job that you've done so catastrophically, and he's still in his job. I just don't understand how that can be.
Where's my old boss when you need him, Alan Sugar, with his "You're fired"? Interest rates. Anyone else before we move on? I'll come back to the panel. No, they're a shy bunch. I'm going to give them a good old talking to in the break. Don't you worry about that. But, you know, my concern in all of this is I understand that it is getting very difficult for people, and people are getting anxious as well, because if you're not, you know, you might be on a product now, but it's coming to an end imminently, and it's scary. And the flip side of it is when people say, you know, get the government to give us more money and to help us out, or to do a windfall tax on the bank and we'll get it that way, you're defeating the object. I don't agree with these constant interest rate rises, but the reason that they're doing it is to try and take money away from people, stop people having the money to spend, and hopefully then quash prices. If you keep giving that money back to people, it's never going to stop. We'll just keep going. The rates will keep going up. The money will keep coming back, and around and around and around we go.
Yeah, there's two problems. First of all, people like Sadiq Khan, Labour Mayor of London, wants socialist control of the housing market. He wants to step in and cap rents. Well, that's not the country we live in. We're not Cuba. You know, we shouldn't have the state intervening like that. It just completely won't work. It will bankrupt the market. The second problem is we just don't have enough housing stock. And we're importing 1 million people a year, net migration. There's nowhere for people to live. And as a consequence, you know, it's a supply and demand issue.
Right, but
and as a consequence, everything is on the consumer to have to cough up all the time. There's no choice.
Go on, Scarlett, tell him.
Actually, if we're talking about interest rates, I mean, I completely agree that we are not building enough houses, right? And I absolutely agree that we've got to do something about renting. But on interest rates and on mortgages, it's not about giving people money. It's about saying to people who are desperate, don't sell your house. I mean, this is what happened when I was younger and we had massive interest rates. People would go into negative equity, they'd sell their houses. I mean, there was a crisis. And what we're trying to do is to say, OK, look, if you're desperate, you know, what we need to do is you have an interest-only mortgage, you have a tiny holiday. We actually leave it, because actually as soon as you're selling your house and we are in negative equity, then actually everything goes down. It's not these are for people who really can't pay their mortgage, right? It's not about giving money away. That's the whole point.
Well, what do you make to it at home? What is your situation and how do you feel today? Because, of course, the jump was much more than many people were expecting.